Chapter 81. I've made it to Chesterton Road, hauling the tin tub and everything else, and I'm dripping with sweat. It's not that far, maybe a mile, and I've gone down back lanes when I can, and generally tried to be unobtrusive. That is, as unobtrusive as a boy running and carrying a huge garden tub can be. From a few streets away, I hear a quick blast from a police siren. I guess they're patrolling the streets looking for me now, but it's hardly a full-scale emergency yet. It's a warm evening and the air is a bit salty from the sea. The trees that line the street cast long shadows, and I can hear birdsong and a lawnmower. Not that I'm noticing it much. I don't think you would either if you were going to do what I'm going to do. So I'm jogging down Chesterton Road with the tub and everything, past Mr. Fraser's monkey puzzle tree, across the alleyway that leads down to the seafront, and then I'm at the jungle, among the scrubby bushes and the dried up litter and bits of twig. I don't know why, but I choose exactly the spot where Carly did her mirror and candle thing. Like I say, it just feels right, as if I'm carrying out some ritual. The battery on the laptop is charged, and I carefully place the leads and the hand grips over the edge of the tin tub so they're touching the bottom. The black box, which I never did find a proper name for, is connected to the laptop, and the memory stick is jammed into the side. When I turn it on, it all begins to start up. You know, I think at a point like this, it is usual to say that my heart was beating like a hammer or something like that, but mine wasn't. My mouth is a bit dry, I suppose, but that could have been from the running, and I'm sweating because it's a warm night, but my heart? Nah. I think it's because I simply have nothing left to lose and nothing more to give. From my jeans pocket, I take the letter to Pi and place it with both hands, sort of ceremoniously, in the tub as well. I pick up Alan Shearer and hold him close to my face. His whiskers twitch and I give him a little kiss on his furry back. Good luck, matey. Into the tub he goes. He seems happy enough. The numbers have stopped their scrolling and the blurry sheen has appeared. By now much less than halfway up the side of the tub, but still well clear of Alan Shearer's head. There were just the coordinates to enter. Cautiously, I open up the folder marked map. I've only opened up this folder once before and it looks scary. Right now it's showing a stark bird's eye view of the streets around Culvercott in green and black, like Pi's old computers in school. I think it's been adapted from Google Maps or something and laid over with this kind of grid. Using the touchpad, I pinpoint the exact spot where Grandpa Byron's shed is. When I click, up pops the coordinates for me to enter. That is where, all being well, Pi will discover the tin tub and a letter and a hamster. Then the date and the time just before my hamster and I went back to 1984, and then the password. I hum the Bladen races to myself and remember WMAG GGGG WV E7G5EGL2CWG. I've told myself on the jog here that is the most likely thing that nothing will happen. It's because of the doppelganger thing. I'm not travelling anywhere. I'm staying put right here, so I can't meet my own double. But I am hoping that my letters changes the past. I'm hoping that Pi will live and go on to meet Mum and have me. And then what? Will I have somehow slipped under the barrier of space-time, broken its rules, and come face to face with the me that up until now has been living an unremarkable life with Mum and Dad? I'm hoping not, but I can't be certain. So with all that is going on in my head, finally, with what? A trembling finger? Nope. My heart in my throat? Nope. I just press enter, just like that. Like I say, I have nothing left to lose. Chapter 82. I turn away from the tin tub. I don't even want to see whether it works this time or what happens. I turn away and crouch down with my head on my knees, and before I cover my eyes, I see that walking towards me is the skinny policeman, his radio crackling. Behind him, getting out of the squad car, is the policewoman. All right, son, don't move. Just stay there, son. Just stay there. He's talking in a calm voice, and he is holding his hands up, palms up. He's really close now, and as I contemplate the failure of my mission, and at such a late stage, I've got nothing left. My shoulders slump and my head droops, and I'm all of a sudden more exhausted than ever thought possible, and I kind of just fall forward. Chapter 83. There was this game that I used to play with Grandpa Byron. Well, I say used to, but it was probably only once or twice. He called it Kim's game, although who Kim was, I've no idea. Perhaps a friend of his. Anyway, what he'd do was put a few random objects on a tray, like a spoon, a tea bag, a pepper pot, a ring and a pen, anything that was lying around. Then I'd have a minute to look at them, and after that I'd have to look away while he removed 2 or 3, and I had to tell him which objects were missing. Obviously, Grandpa Byron was brilliant at it. He could do it even if you didn't remove any objects, but just swap the positions of a couple. And the reason I'm telling you this now is that Kim's game comes to mind when, after a minute or so of crouching and not looking up, I lift my head, and the policeman's not there. Has he driven off? The police car isn't there either. I didn't hear it drive away. I look for signs that anything has changed. The first thing I notice is the garden tub has gone, along with its contents. All that's left are a smouldering black box and a laptop with its screen black and burnt out. The cables have been severed, melted, at the point they entered the tub, and that's the end of the story end. That's the end of my dad's time machine. So something has happened. I'm just not sure whether to be pleased or not. If anything, it just makes me more nervous than I was before. But like a bad player of Kim's game, me, I hadn't really paid much attention to my surroundings in the first place, so it's hard for me to tell what, if anything, has changed. Slowly, I walk over the road to number 40, our old house. There is a car in the driveway, which I don't recognise. It's not Graham and Bella's Skoda. The front door is dark blue, like it was when I lived there before, but so what? The colour had it been when Graham and Bella lived there. I can't remember. Now my heart is beating fast, or hard, or loud, or all 3. I can't tell, because I know for sure that in the next few moments I will have the answer to whether my experiment has worked. I push the doorbell. Who will answer? Graham? Bella? Somebody else? And the door opens, but before I can see who it is, she turns away and stalks briskly back down the hallway. For heaven's sake, Al, how many times? Take your key. I know the voice, and my heart feels like it's racing, and my throat is still dry, so I can just about croak, Mum? Mum? She stops. She turns. It's Mum, in our old house, not Steve's house. Well, why are you standing? Al, what on earth are you wearing? Oh, hey! I have rushed into the house and thrown my arms around her with such a force we almost overbalance, but we don't. Instead, I just stand there squeezing her and making all kinds of sure that it is really her. And all the while she's saying, Are you okay, Al? Is something wrong? Because I'm sort of half sobbing, half laughing. In hindsight, that must have looked pretty weird for her. So we're like that in the hallway, and by now Mum is hugging me back because, she tells me later, for a mum, a hug from your son is always welcome. And while I'm hugging her, I'm checking her over every inch of her head, her hair, her hands, and I'm just grinning because everything's how it should be. Then she kisses the top of my head. All right, Wonder Boy, let me go. And from the front room is the sound of the television and another familiar voice. Lithuania, Oliver Cromwell, sodium chloride. And then I chuckle, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And then Grandpa Byron's in the hallway too, and everything looks right there as well. I hug him too, and he smells right, and his right arm is twisted, and even that seems right. Everything is right. Mum said, supper in 10 minutes, boys. What's for supper? I ask a little warily, because probably for the first time in my life I want it to be the one of Mum's experiments. Chicken korma, said Mum, and I get the beginnings of an uneasy feeling. Only there was no chicken in the freezer, so we've done it with pig's kidneys. It'll be a bit of an experiment. And Al, where did you get those clothes? Have you been down the Sue Rider? Behind her back, Grandpa wobbles his head in amusement. Everything is right. Everything, apart from the one thing I need to know. It's the one thing I cannot bring myself to ask. I try telling myself that just staying like this forever would be good enough for me, but I don't ask, and then I won't get the answer I'm dreading. But it isn't. I have to ask. Where's Dad? Mum looks at me like I'm crazy and I can hardly breathe. Your dad, she says, frowning. Where do you think? Chapter 84 tomorrow.